Welcome to Town Board Regular Meeting number 8. It's May 2nd, 2016. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Councilman Bilko?
Here.
Councilman Aronica?
Here.
Councilman Madigan?
Here.
Councilwoman Kinney? Here. Supervisor McMurray?
Here. So I'll move on now to items 2 and 3. Bible Fellowship Center will do the invocation. In honor of Older Americans Month, the pledge will be led by members of the Golden Age Center. Welcome. So we'll begin with the invocation.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to come together once again as a community and focus our attention on the betterment of this community. And I pray that you'll give each of our leaders wisdom to make wise decisions. I pray your blessing be upon them, on their families. We pray too for our law enforcement on the island and for our first responders and our volunteer firemen, all those involved in the safety. We pray too for those that have lost their loved ones, especially this month, as we focus on the names that are listed. I pray you give comfort to them. Can't help but make us think of our men and women that are away at war, our veterans, those that have lost their loved ones, those that are even POWs. I pray you give a special comfort to those. Also to those that have been injured, that your healing hand would be upon them also. All these things we pray, respecting all faiths. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Members of the Golden Age Center, you can lead us in the pledge. Please come on up. So whoever wants to begin, lead us.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Why don't you stay up here for a second? Golden Age, please stay up here for a second. So I'm going to read this. So May is Older Americans Month, and I think we have a great group here. We want to present this proclamation to them. So let me just come on down. We'll present the proclamation.
So I'll read a little bit of it real quick. It says, whereas older Americans possess certain knowledge, skill, and experience, all of which are among our community's most valuable human resources, an act of the United States Congress has designated the month of May as Older Americans Month, with this year's theme as Blaze a Trail. And whereas our community provides opportunities to enrich the lives of older individuals, especially by the Golden Age Club of Grand Island, established in 1959 for any resident 50 or older, which since that time has continuously provided necessary services and stimulating opportunities, helping older adults take control of their safety and well-being, recognizing the value of injury prevention and safety awareness, and helping older adults remain healthy and active, and providing a friendly environment for the community's older Americans at the Grand Island Golden Age Center. So resolve this day for this proclamation for May as Older Americans Month. Let me present this to the representative. Who's the key representative? How about you right in the middle, Alan? How about you? I'll present right. So let me get down.
Half the crowd could join us.
Yeah, right. So I'm happy to announce the second proclamation for tonight that our town clerk, Patty Freswell, has won Town Clerk of the Year for Erie County. Can you imagine that? So Patty does so much, and her department runs like a clock over there, and I know I drive her nuts, and that she's very patient with the rookie supervisor, but I'm so happy that she won this. Very proud of you. So let me
You know, she's been a town clerk for how many years now? Yeah, it's amazing. So, Thank you.
lot of complaints, but one thing I always hear from people is the average citizen coming in is how much they like Patty, which drives me nuts. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but she's okay, moving on. So any public comments on agenda items only? We're going to move to open discussion later, but just agenda items only. Does anyone have any public comments? Come to the mic for the agenda items. Okay. We're good. Oh, go ahead. We're going to go ahead. Come on up. Just say your name and address, please.
My name is Laura Russowitz, and I live at 385 Tracy Lane. And I am speaking today on the Gun Creek, which is public hearing number 2.
Anything except for the public hearing. We'll get to that in a second.
I'll chat with you later on.
Okay. Thank you, Maura. Okay, so we're going to move on to the public hearing on local law intro number 5 of 2016, amending the sign code of Grand Island. Patty, please read the pertinent part of the legal notice.
Take notice that a public hearing will be held on the second day of May to consider and possibly enact a local law adding section 295 8F to the town code, adding the computation section to the sign code. At the said time and place, all interested members of the public shall be heard.
Okay, so is there any comments on that amendment to the sign code? Okay, no comments. We will close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion to accept local law number 5, amending the sign code.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next one is Bob Westfall notifies a couple of hours ago that we have not received an approval from New York NYSDEC ECHD regarding the sanitary sewer extension that is needed. So we will have the public hearing on Gun Creek PDD detailed plan and final approval phase B, but we'll keep it open. So we're going to take comments on it now, correct?
I'll read the public
Go ahead.
hearing and then you can have this. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held on Monday, the 2nd of May, to consider an application by Gun Creek LLC for a detailed plan, final plat approval of Phase 2B of Gun Creek subdivision, 49 lots. All interested persons may attend at said time and place and be heard thereon.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Supervisor and members of the town board. Sean Hopkins of the law firm of Hopkins, George and Romanowski. And as you recall from previous meetings, I'm the attorney involved in the Gun Creek project. What's in front of you this evening, and also turn it the other way so the audience can see it, is detailed plan and final plat approval for what's known as Phase 1B. That is these 49 lots shown in pink and orange. So if anyone in the audience is interested, it is these lots that are located on the north side or on the south side of Gun Creek. Since the previous meetings with this board, I did attend the Conservation Advisory Board meeting last Thursday evening. Councilmember Billick was there and answered any questions they had relative to the project. As the supervisor indicated in his introductory comments, as a result of the fact that both the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and the Erie County Health Department have not yet finalized their review and approval of the sanitary sewer extension due to some technical reasons that we're working with the engineering department on, we're not asking for you to close the hearing this evening. The reason we're not asking you to close the public hearing is in connection with final plat applications. Believe it or not, in the law, there are provisions whereby if a certain time period passes, an applicant could say they're entitled to default approval. I want to make it clear on the record, first and foremost, we would not do that. But secondly, rather than be safe than sorry, the best approach is to leave the public hearing open. I think everything else about this project you've previously seen. We've been working diligently over the past few months to address a wide assortment of input that we received. I do know there's one resident here who has comments. I would certainly welcome the opportunity to either meet with her or address her comments. And then secondly, I would note this project, of course, goes all the way back to 2005. Realistically, we hoped it would happen a lot sooner. I've now reset my goal, 47. So my goal now is hopefully we get this approved before I become eligible to join the Golden Age Club. So in 3 years from now. The other thing I would note is I would also like to congratulate Patty Frenzel. I deal with town clerks in every municipality in Erie County, and she's nothing but friendly and charismatic in every instance. So congratulations on that. If there are any questions about the project, I would welcome the opportunity to address them. There is a resident who wants to speak.
Hi, Maura. Sorry about that. Sean, would you mind sitting down? Because
No,
you're so
no,
big
no,
and it might be
absolutely not.
intimidating
No,
to
no, no.
someone. I would want to stand behind me.
Could I do what you did in that photo?
I just want to say, I've lived on Trace Lane for almost 27 years now, and I've spoken on this, or my husband has, or our neighbors have, several times, but not to this specific audience, so I'll give you a little background. Tracy Lane backs up to the area of Gun Creek, and our backyards, we have major wetlands behind us. So they've kind of looked and mitigated some of the wetlands, but there's a large area of wetlands in the Gun Creek area. There's also all kinds of wildlife, and I can't tell you exactly what's there, but I'm sure I can get that information for you if I'd like. But I know that there's, like, if you look at the deer population and things like that, they need somewhere to go. But that's just part of the things that I want to talk about. We have put a lot of new building on Grand Island recently. We have all kinds of apartments going up on the boulevard. I don't know the exact number, but do you know?
Almost 300.
Yeah, so that's the 300 new ones. They just built the other ones just a little ways further down. There's new houses going up down on the other side of the high school. With all of these houses, there are going to be children. And if you even put one child in half of the homes being built, you're talking 250 new children in Grand Island. And that's a low estimate. And if you try to put 250 children into our existing school district, we don't have enough room to put those children into schools. So we're going to then have to build a new elementary school to compensate for all the kids that are coming in. And all these houses and all this building is going to put so much stress on the infrastructure of our town that we have to look at more things than just let's build houses. You have to look at what the whole effect of those houses being built and how it's going to impact the whole community, not just one developer. Okay, so that's a big point that I want to talk about. One of the last times I spoke here, incidentally, was regarding the convenience store on the corner of Ransom and Stony Point. And I said at the time, a child will get hurt crossing the street, trying to go to the store, which did happen. And within less than 5 years, the store will be closed and we'll be left with an empty building. We now have an empty building sitting in the corner of Ransom and Stony.
And can I just add, I tried to call them. It's been not only closed, it's been pretty much closed for over a year. Or just they had like one Twinkie on the shelf.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know
Yeah.
either, but that was speculation that when they built that, many of us came out and spoke to the town board, kind of fell on deaf ears. And we know what we're talking about. That's our area. We know our area. Okay, we now have empty gas tanks sitting in the ground there, and it's a nice building, I guess. But, and traffic. I don't know if you ever tried to leave Ransom Road when school's letting out, but it is nightmarish. And if you try to pull out onto Ransom from our street now, if you don't leave by 2:15, don't think about leaving until 2:40 because you can't get out of our street. So if you put all those other cars coming out of that development, what are we supposed to do? We live there and we know what it's going to be like. We can't handle that in that specific area. So I really don't think that we should approve any new building. And, they already upped the density. It's too many houses to go into that area.
Thank you. Okay, so I will, no more comments on the public hearing items?
Could I make a comment?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
My name is Michael Jensen, and you're probably not aware of it, or most of the people here aren't. This Gun Creek Estates that we're building on is my grandfather's farm. And I was born here in 1948. My father was born here in 1918. My grandfather was born here in 1880. So I think I'm well aware of more of what's going on Grand Island than most of the people in this room. And I agree with that lady that was just up here. There's already too many people over here. You're going to put 277 homes over there. That's going to be over 500 cars that are going to try to get over that Grand Island Bridge. And when's the last time you tried to get over the Grand Island Bridge at 4:30 in the summertime?
Yeah.
Now you're adding 500 more cars in there. And, it's just we're getting saturated over here, and nobody wants to hear anything about these bridges. They don't want to hear anything about traffic on this highway. And you know, the accidents and the stuff that's happening over here, all you're doing is adding to it. You're putting more apartments, you're putting more housing, you're putting everything over here. My opinion is I think this whole thing is wrong. It's nothing but contractor greed is all it is. It's people trying to make money. This is not about anything that's going to help Grand Island. It's just about greed. And that's what I want to say.
Thank you, sir. I will say a lot of, Mr. Jensen, I think we are, all five of us, very concerned about overdevelopment on the island. And I think all the concerns that was raised by yourself and Laura, we're thinking about, and they're very important to us. I know me personally. I just want to let you know that, because the bridges, the traffic on the bridges, the traffic on our roads, I live off Ransom, so I know when Laura says that it's a traffic jam over there, it is. You can't get out of there in the morning. So we understand those concerns. I just wanted to let you know that before you sat down, because we're considering all this. Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, I'm going to close the public hearing. Oh, yeah, oops, I forgot. For this item, the Gun Creek item, we're going to leave the public hearing open. Is that right? So can I get a motion to leave it open?
So moved.
Okay. You don't have a motion? Okay, what is this open then? It will stay on the table until the next meeting. Thanks for the input from everybody who spoke. Number 7. So I will entertain a motion to accept the past minutes from workshop meetings number 20 and 21, and also from regular meeting number 7. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda. We received the following meeting minutes from the Economic Development Advisory Board from April, meeting minutes from the Board of Architectural Review from March. A reminder that Erie County Sheriff's Department is offering a car seat check at Town Hall in the parking lot this Saturday, May 7th, from 9 a.m. till noon. Make sure those car seats are properly installed. A notice from cops, concerns of police survivors. For the first 2 weeks of May and November, they collect $1 from all cops, and that money funds the programs to support families who have lost loved ones in the line of duty. Please encourage police officer-friendly people to support this cause. Are there any communications from the town board for the consent agenda? So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Madigan?
Aye.
Veronica? Philippa?
Aye.
Kenny? McMurray?
Aye. Item number 9, communications from John Whitney in Engineering and Water Resources. Number 1, the engineering department wants to hire a summer intern, Nathan Bush, at the rate of $12.25 an hour, as per the part-time employee salary schedule as a first-year worker, with an effective date of hire of May 3rd. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, we just need to make sure whenever we're hiring somebody,
Yep.
that they have to turn in the appropriate paperwork,
Sure. The
whatever the pre-employment,
screening paperwork?
yeah, all that stuff.
I add that to the motion.
You know,
I always add it.
But we need to properly say it. No,
So
But
I
I always add it.
it's all right.
You added that motion? so-
It's subject to the approval of the paperwork, the necessary paperwork. and we do all.
Okay, and I'll say it again. I'll entertain a motion that we accept this, subject to proper HR screening.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
John Whitney also needs to hire 2 laborers as seasonal, full-time seasonal staff employees as summer help in the water department at the following rates. Sean Steckelberg at $9 an hour, the first-year rate. B, Nick Kilner at $9.25 an hour, which is the second-year rate. I'll entertain a motion to hire these 2 individuals, subject to typical screening processes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 3, the EPA requires the draft annual report and the stormwater management plan to be available for the public. Therefore, copies are on files at the town clerk's office, Grand Island Memorial Library, and the website beginning May 6th. Public comments will be accepted until May 25th. Received and filed. I'll entertain a motion for John Whitney, authorization to advertise for the SSES work year 4 and 5 job number M-198-15, and to receive bids on Wednesday, May 25 at 10 a.m. Anyone make that
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 10, communications from Joe Mentor in Recreation. We need authorization to transfer Dominique DiGregorio from part-time status to seasonal status for a period of 5 months, after which she will return to part-time status. Effective date, May 3, 2016. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to add for all these, they're all within the budgeted plan, including the ones we'll be talking about later. So they're all within budget and they were planned for in advance.
That's correct.
So we did check that.
So Dominic DiGregorio, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Does anyone remember Ernie DiGregorio from the old Buffalo Braves?
He's kind of short.
Yeah, he was. He's good. 11, communications from Tom DeWork in Parks and Maintenance. Number 1, need authorization to hire the following as park workers for seasonal employment as per salary and completion of proper paperwork. Ryan Ayers at $10.70 an hour effective May 2nd, 2016. Edward Local at $9 an hour effective May 2nd. Matthew Rieger at $9 an hour effective May 2nd, 2016. He also requests permission to appoint Thomas Cesari as seasonal crew chief as per contract beginning May 7, 2016 for 18 weeks at $32.32 an hour. And we need to move Joshua Ngaro's start date up to May 2nd from May 19th. That's just a communication. I don't think we need any other activity on that. We need a motion. So I'll entertain a motion for that, to accept those communications from Tom Dvorak.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we could have the effective date May 2nd, that's today.
He said May 19th.
It says May 2nd.
No, I said May 2nd.
Just move up date from 19th to the 2nd, just make it May 3rd and it'll be fine, because that'll be tomorrow.
So I'll change this to May 3rd.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to accept as May 3rd, including all the other points.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes from the rest of you guys? We good?
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just want to make sure. Number 12, communications from Doug Learman, Code Enforcement Office. We have a special use permit renewal for Arlene Clark, 3059 2nd Avenue, to continue home occupation as a barber shop in her home. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mike, can you give us a report of the audit committee?
I'd like to make a motion to pay the following amounts to the following accounts. General fund, $75,838.01. Highway fund, $18,792.49. Sewer fund, $14,005.50. Water fund, $14,381.15. Capital fund, $4,062.50. Lighting district, $1,900. Capital reserve, $1,845.05. And the fire account for $30,800. And the grand total is $161,624.70.
Okay. So,
So I made a motion.
Second.
any discussion on that? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're going to open up the floor now to public comments and whatever you want to express your mind on. Remember, please be respectful. Respect the forum. Even if you don't respect me personally, we ask you to be respectful with your comments. And please state your name and address when you come to the mic. So with that, let's open the floor to discussion.
But you know what, Henry, you could go there and be the haircut. Yeah, that's right next door to Lucy.
Say to the
That's real close.
Okay.
It is.
Okay, it seems to be no discussion, so I will close the floor to discussion. Are there any comments from the town board?
Yes.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
find it necessary to use this public forum to read a prepared statement. I'd like to address a couple of issues that have been brought to the forefront recently. First, it has been suggested that I and others knew of the alleged deletion of town files. I would like to dispel that notion by saying that I had no knowledge of the alleged action until it was brought out in the public. I do not condone the deletion of files that are required by law to be preserved for any following elected officials. I will work with the town board to make sure that procedures are in place to assure the law is followed by all elected officials in the future. Second, it has been suggested that I and other town board members have been using the code enforcement department to harass the citizens of Grand Island. I strongly deny any involvement in any of those allegations and will state right now in public that the code enforcement department has not been, in the words of others, the Gestapo of the town board. The code enforcement department is tasked with enforcing the codes of the town of Grand Island and the state of New York. Are there times when there are disagreements? Absolutely. But our code enforcement officials work with those people to solve those differences, and when they can't be resolved, there is a processes actually, where those individuals can seek a determination by other agencies as to who is right. And lastly, on a brighter note, let's hope that the April showers that have been lingering bring us Mayflowers, and to all those mothers whose Mother's Day is Sunday, and I won't have an opportunity to, happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Can I make a comment? I will say as well to the public that this town board had nothing to do with any deletion of files. There was no mass deletion by Chris or Ray or Beth or Mike or me or myself. There was, during the transition, apparently some files deleted. Now, is that the worst thing that happened in the history of the world? No. Was it maybe a mistake or some confusion? I can only speculate. But for sure, none of these people had anything to do with it, and people should not be confused by that. What we're talking about is the emptying of one folder on one computer that was connected to a server. This is not like people were going through and burning hard drives and throwing computers out the window, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to sweep it under the rug, but I also want the facts to be clear of what actually occurred, so there's not an overreaction. The second thing I want to say is, I know there's been a lot of talk about code enforcement on the island, and I've talked about some of that. I want to be clear, the hardest thing in the modern era is to find good talent, to find people who are good at their job. I think we have a code enforcement officer who is very bright and very good at his job. Do I think there was collusion in the past, or that things were done wrong? Again, it's not appropriate for me at this point in this position to speculate, but I will say that I think it's my duty as the supervisor and with the town board's help to set expectations going forward. And I'm going to work with the code enforcement department to set expectations so that the town and everyone else knows that there's no funny business. With that being said, I have nothing more to say on those two topics at this time.
So I have a couple comments. One is, as Ray mentioned, as Nate mentioned, that the deletion of those documents appear to be very bad behavior. I believe everything that we know of has been recovered. So actual documents, we don't believe at this point, or we have no evidence that anything's actually been lost, but it was bad behavior. As a result of that activity, we will be looking at creating a policy to prevent that and hold us electeds accountable that during transition, there should be a certain expectation of retention of documents and files. So we will be working on a policy or a process or a code or whatever you want to call it to ensure that we're on notice that we have to follow that as a process. The second is regarding Doug in particular. I've personally talked to Doug on several occasions. And I specifically asked him about certain occurrences where he's been accused over the years and/or other individuals. I am very convinced that he did not do anything inappropriate. He wasn't asked to do anything inappropriate. He was not enforcing against for political purposes. And I am convinced that he's a stand-up guy. There's codes that have to be followed. You go to any town, anywhere, and you're going to find out the least popular guy is the code enforcement guy. Now, is there a way in which we can maybe help prioritize things and maybe make sure that we're focused on the right areas? That's really the town board, and we need to help prioritize what is the top priorities. And that's the other thing I think we need to work on as a team, or as a town board, not necessarily as a team, but as a town board, to help provide direction and support so that we do a better job, more customer friendly going forwards, and work with the Dougs and the rest of the team to make sure that we're customer focused.
Can I add something to that? Oh, go ahead. I'm going to cut you off. Go ahead. Yeah, I do. I think I don't want to underplay the other side of it, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, Mr. Lindgren. I think we have to we need to set expectations so that the public doesn't have any misconceptions, or there's not even the appearance of wrongdoing. We have to make sure that we are completely transparent, and so there's confidence in the public that they're not being targeted, or that those kind of stories can't arise. And we need to work harder at that as a town board. But I will emphasize, I think that Mr. Lehrman is very knowledgeable, and he knows his stuff. And he may have, because of that, he takes his job very seriously, which could be misinterpreted. But again, I think we need to work together to figure out a way to make sure that the public is confident. And then also Mr. Lehrman feels that he is respected and safe in his job as well, and that he understands his limits and expectations. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Well, I want to second some of the things that was said here tonight about the deleted files. We talked about getting the files back. I talked to the IT fellow today, and the files are backed up on an hourly basis. So we are pretty confident that all the files that were deleted were gotten back. I'm all for, I'm liaison to the Cable and Communication Board, so a lot of this falls into their laps as far as working on putting a technical governance together, or policy that will help us keep our files more secure, and just have policy so everyone knows when they put something on a government computer, that it belongs to the government. So, and as far as our zoning, I would like to weigh in on that, because we've talked extensively about that recently. And I agree with Nathan and the other gentleman here that, it's a hard job. What we would like to do going forward, and my sentiment, is that sometimes zoning, you can be right, but when you're right, sometimes you can be wrong if it doesn't make sense. So we talked about making a better policy going forward that would make some better sense in a lot of different areas. That would make actually make Doug's job a little easier, because I think clarification is important when you're asking someone to go out and enforce zoning. So, but we are on top of it. We are really learning and trying to do the best thing for Grand Island residents. Happy Mother's Day.
I know you want to get home. I want to say one thing about the file thing too. You brought up a good point. I think the public should hear this. We restored the files. And law is often about bringing things to an equilibrium or to a balance. It's not about windfalls in one direction or the other. You often hear the phrase, the punishment fits the crime. Well, the crime is often based on how much damage is caused. If the damage is severe, if you kill somebody, the punishment is severe because you can't restore that. When you can't restore things, there's a serious damage, usually there's more serious consequences. Here, I do think there's a mitigating factor that we were able to save and restore this. I'm not sure if we whoever did the original deletion understood that, but I think that should be taken into account, that the actual damage to the town is very minor because we have a good IT team and a system that backs things up. So I wanted to state that. I think that plays a lot in how I'm viewing this. Do I think it was nasty? Again, maybe? Or do I think it was an accident? Who knows? I don't know. I can only speculate. But do I think it's caused irreparable harm to Grand Island that we should all be outraged about? I do not. Is there any other comments from the board? No? So with that being said, motion in a favor to adjourn tonight's meeting at, what time is it? 8:40?
So moved.
Second.
Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And please rise. Tonight we'll observe a moment of silence in memory of James Hatch, Vera Dutka, Thomas Insalaco, Donovan Wasson, Destan Cope, Theodore Kessler Sr., Diane Lawrence, and Warren Mobley IV. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.